We're all good.
Right?
No.
Early break with Sid and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the happy hour. Happy Monday.
Never lost.
Hope the weekend was good. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary with you guys. Rico, what's up, man?
Hello.
I got to figure out my headphones here. There we
Turn it
go.
up, turn it down.
Yeah, you were. So I this morning, Jake's headphones were up to max volume. Yours were down to minimum volume. So we had to find a happy medium.
There is no happy.
I guess my ears haven't been shot. Yours must be real sensitive.
They are.
So now we're fine.
I have very sensitive ears.
So here we go. We get this right off the text line, 402-464-5685. Mouth of the South says, Kill Little Red, now the band, the pride of Nebraska. You have sick thoughts, Nick. Seek counseling, please. First of all, I'm the one that wants to keep Little Red alive.
I want to kill
Rico wants to kill Little Red. Second of all, I don't want to kill the band. I just said, if you want to worry about shortening college games so much, maybe look at where the biggest difference is in the games and don't look at little incremental 30-second timeouts, but look at during halftime where NFL is 12 minutes long and college is 20 minutes. So that's all I said. Don't kill the band. Please don't kill the band. Do not kill the band.
Just make them perform faster.
Just make them march faster.
All right?
Please.
Two times speed.
Please march faster.
Yeah, 2 times speed. All right, pick it up.
Okay.
Knees to chest.
This is a great conversation because Rico, it actually works out really well because you and I were both at the game last night.
Yes.
Huskers beat Maryland in thrilling fashion. Just an unbelievable atmosphere.
The place was electric.
402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Okay. The student sections, and Waterboy brings it up. Can we start a petition to move the student section while we're critiquing Husker athletics? The first part, Waterboy, okay, so I think last night showed they had some overflow students move behind the basket. And if you were there or saw the Jumbotron, there was a guy taking his shirt off every single time.
Great guy.
I liked it. I liked it. Other media members, if you were listening, you did not like it, but that's okay. You're just a fun hater.
I'm sorry that you don't like fun.
Yeah, you're a fun hater.
Wow. Congratulations. You want to take all of the spirit out of college athletics.
And every single time.
I can see that your eyes are just a nice dull gray. You like a nice khaki suit at all times. What do you got? You Post-it notes? I don't know what you're doing, but they're just yellow. Not even colored.
Hated the guy taking his shirt off. But here's the thing.
You and your typewriters.
It was fun. It was something different. But you had that group of guys and the students behind the basket, and it made Rico and I kind of talk during the game when it wasn't extremely stressful. We were kind of talking during the game about they need to have the student section behind the baskets.
Yes.
And if you remember the Bob Devaney Sports Center, they had them behind the basket, and it was enjoyable. Like it made storming the court easy. Not that Nebraska storms it often, but it made that.
But in case you need,
it made it for easy access to the court. And the way that PBA is set up, it's not going to be necessarily easy because I don't think there's gates going down behind the hoops. But either way,
hop the little gate in front of you.
Either way, we sat here and it was like they had people messing with the free throw shooter from directly behind the basket. And it's great having the students on the side because you have them behind the benches. And I suppose for the opposing bench, that can be kind of intimidating, I suppose. I mean, you can jog back and forth if you are a student to reserve players on the opposing team or whatever it may be. But if you're worried about season tickets, if I was a season ticket holder, I would be more interested in buying seats that are where the students are now, if that makes sense, on the side of the court,
behind the benches where you don't have an obstructed view by a hoop.
rather than behind the basket. Now, I'm not sure. Maybe their season tickets are on the opposite side where there are no students across the way from the students. I'm not sure.
Also, you're sitting season ticket holders next to the band. I think the students
That's a
next
good
to the
point.
band makes a lot more sense because they don't care about the noise, and the band and the students get along. They all love each other. They're all students.
So it's unfortunate that, I mean, last night it was a great atmosphere, and the students had a great presence, and they had the first 500 students received crew necks at halftime.
They weren't leaving. For all of you watching on TV, you saw it towards the end of the first half. The mass exodus, quote unquote, of students. They weren't leaving the game. They were getting in line to get their crew necks.
So here's the deal. I mean, and Waterboy brought it up about student sections, and he said I was more talking about football, but it also applies to basketball. Football, I don't think will ever change because you have family inherited seats, and people won't want to move those guys.
Although I agree with Waterboy. You need to move 100%. The student section out of the corner.
Yeah.
They're just like thrown up there. It's just like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Here's your seating.
The east side is pretty good for students in football, but they need to be moved closer to the center of the field, and rather than putting it up in the corner. Because I mean, I'll tell you guys this. I mean, and it's not a surprise when Nebraska's been bad. Number one, people don't show up, so that corner of the stadium is empty. Because they're not the best seats in the house either. And then you also have, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of seats up in those corners to fill. And when football is one of those tickets that you have to buy in addition to everything else as a college student,
how the students don't just get it for free.
When you have to buy the season tickets, they might sell out, but just because you buy them doesn't mean people are going. So that's one of those things. I mean, we could get into a whole nother conversation there on a university level, but
the tuition is enough for the ticket. Why don't you the students shouldn't have to buy the tickets?
Well, so that's the same thing for like Husker men's basketball. Is you have to buy season tickets that you have to buy as a student. Football, men's basketball, and volleyball. Those are the three sports that you have to buy season ticket or student tickets for. Once you get in there, it's wherever you sit. It doesn't matter, but you have to buy the season tickets to get in there. I think with football especially, we've seen how at halftime and at the start of the third quarter, even the fourth quarter, it's obviously more of a social event for a lot of students, and that's fine. But if you open it up for more people, it'll look more full, if that makes sense, I think. So here we go. Mr. Unlimited says students don't have to donate, so they're going to get the worst seats.
So tuition is pretty large.
Tuition, and I think students play a huge part in the atmosphere. Yeah, like this is not a knock against older people, but students are going to be able to get the stadium more riled up than an 85-year-old person.
Careful.
Person. So that's not a knock. That's just being honest.
Yeah.
Who generates the energy the most in a basketball game? Students.
The guy taking his shirt off.
Who generates the atmosphere the most in a Husker football game? Who gets the chants going? Who gets the screaming? Like, it is
some
these
dude
students
dressed as a corn cob.
You want these students to be engaged and present, and if that means moving locations, I think that plays, and that's coming from a fan. Like that's coming from a spectator. It's not coming from a college student in my eyes. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the argument text line, both those open for you. Mass text, that's funny. I wish I could read that. Mr. Unlimited, I get it. Tuition money doesn't go into the athletic fund, but when you donate to buy tickets, it goes into the athletic fund. I totally get that. I understand that tuition and athletics are completely separate. But it's too bad.
Free student tickets is not a super. The free is you get in with your student ID. This happens at multiple other universities across the country. and the students still show up. In fact, it's crazier to show up because you have to get there in time. You don't have to worry about buying your student. You have students who want to go to volleyball games, who want to go to football games, but they didn't get the season tickets at the beginning of the season because they sold out, and then they have to buy a ticket, and sit, somewhere else, not with the student section. Whereas if you give the students free access with their student IDs, it's even crazier to get in because then it's really first come, first serve outside of the people who, right now with the season tickets. So the students, the ones that really want to show up, are going to show up with their student IDs and get there early and try to get the best seats in the house.
So just thoughts, but more specifically with basketball last night, we could really see the students, when there's a presence there, it dictates the game. Like, that's nothing against the other fans. That's nothing against the other fans. But what's one conversation is during Christmas break when Husker basketball is playing at home and the students aren't there. Man, PBA looks pretty empty right now. PBA, where it's going to be nice to get the students back. I don't know, but I think you're either on one side where it's students don't matter and it just allow people to pay for tickets and get the nice seats, and we're having a lot of text on that. Jim in Lincoln says this: I've been going to Husker football games for 30 years since I graduated, and I never even noticed the student section except before the game starts. Nobody in the rest of the stadium gives a crap about the student section.
And then you have Chase V, who says the Boneyard Memorial is the energy. They kept that place electric during Indiana this past year.
Yeah.
So you're either on one side or you're on the other.
Yeah. So then Kyle says this: move the students to the middle of the end zone instead of the corner for football games. You have some bit of that visual for kickers, for field goals, things like that. Yeah, bipolar. The biggest crime and joke for the entire university is charging students for parking. Nothing else comes close. Hey, I have some thoughts.
That's true.
I have some thoughts. So here we go. Jim and Lincoln. It depends on whether you're a student or not. If you are a student, of course, you think that you're the center of the universe. Jim, I'm not saying
I wasn't a student.
I am not saying this. I have been to a Husker game as a student one time, and that was my first semester of freshman year. And I vowed to myself never to go as a student ever again, because number one, it's not because I'm a student at all. Like that I, once again, not at all. I'm talking about the energy for the environment. There's reasons to it. There's reasons why at multiple basketball venues, students are behind baskets instead of on the side. Now at a place like Cameron Indoor, where it's Duke, you have the Cameron Crazies that are kind of trademarked, but
they're all around.
At Nebraska, they're not directly on top of you. They're not directly on top of the sidelines at PBA. And that's okay. I love the layout of PBA where you can walk around.
Yeah.
I love that part of it.
They can't reach out and smack you in the back of the head when you're inbounding a ball.
But this is not coming from a student. This is coming from a spectator and a media member of the when you've been at the games. And yesterday, it reminded me of the Bob Devaney Sports Center atmosphere. It's great for volleyball, where you have them right on the service line, where you have them right behind the service line. The students
are in the four corners.
Yes, that's great. Because why? Because you're right on top of the players. And at basketball, where do you want them? Do you want them on the side trying to distract from a free throw where the free throw shooter can't see them? They can only hear them. Or would you rather have them behind the basket,
waving things around?
Yes.
Taking their shirt off.
I don't know. Or have them in both spots.
That's crazy.
It just reminded me of the atmosphere of those games against Kansas and Texas and Iowa State and those big games at Bob Devaney Sports Center, where you had these sweet shots of guys hitting free throws or trying to hit a free throw and having all the students directly behind the hoop, or you have them rushing the court from both sides. It just seems like a cool option or a cool opportunity for the students at basketball games. Football, whatever. I mean, you're going to fill it up. It's going to be fine. Whatever. It's fine. But I just, Rico and I kind of were talking about last night at the game. Like, yeah, we remember what the Bob Devaney was like when they were directly behind the baskets, and it's too bad that they don't
have that anymore.
They don't have that. Now, granted, it's great because they can chirp at the coach. They can chirp at the coach from directly behind them, but, it's fine.
They had fun with Juwan Howard last year when Nebraska was getting blown out. They had him chug a bottle of water.
So Jay Stu says this: I had student tickets to Devaney. the greatest part, we were basically under the hoop. Cost us like $20 and you got a shirt. Thunder Not Collins, we got into so many players' heads in the bob. It was insane. The students impact basketball for sure. And that's where football is kind of off on its own. You might not affect, you're going to get the crowd riled up and loud, and you're going to, contribute, excuse me.
Words are hard.
Contribute to the noise wherever you're sitting. That's not where this is for necessarily. With basketball, you have that opportunity to, impact visually for the opponent. Pete and Seward says, if the students don't matter, then don't have college sports. The team is made of students and supported by other students. Football makes enough money without eliminating the students' ability to influence the stadium atmosphere. Both basketball and football should have students on the end. So that's, yeah. I don't know.
I kind of agree with it. The student sections increase the atmosphere, increase the intensity of collegiate athletics. Like that's a big part of it. Outside of obviously the students participating in the events themselves, the student aspect of it in the crowd is something that you don't really get at professional events.
Unnamed Texture says, I'm on the belief that they should be behind the baskets like they were at the Bob. I had season tickets for 6 of the years I worked in the training table, and I thought it was much better with them behind the basket than where they are now. And I don't know. And there's a lot of thoughts on it. Like I said, 402-464-5685. There's a lot of, you're either for it or against it, or on one side of the coin than the other. So, I didn't know it'd have this much passion. But, here we are. So, once again, not coming as a student. And I also don't think, unfortunately, students think that they are at the center of the universe. Maybe I'm wrong.
They want to feel like they have an impact on the game.
Yeah. Thunder Not Collins says, can we get beer in this first and then talk about not charging students for tickets?
Honestly, not charging students for tickets is probably going to come before beer in Memorial Stadium.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Now
that is going to be a while.
And there's beer in Memorial Stadium, just not sold in Memorial Stadium. i.e. the student section.
He's funny because he's true.
Yeah, funny, i.e. the student section. So up in the corner. All right, let's get to break. When we come back, let's talk a little about the game as well. And then I want to dive into NFL buy or sell, because there were some headlines over the weekend that kind of gained some attention. We still haven't necessarily heard from Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if anybody's checked on him after his little 4-day retreat.
Did they open the door?
Is
he still there?
We have no clue.
Uh-oh.
We have no clue. Aaron Rodgers hopefully is not hallucinating still. About a week and a half after he began his retreat.
He's locked himself in the room. We can't get him out.
We can't get him. He's got to unlock the door, and we just can't get him.
I knew this was a bad design.
Yeah. But either way, let's talk about Husker hoops. Keisei Tominaga, Sam Griesel, Sam Flippin Hoiberg.
And the F is for phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I said Sam Flippin.
I know.
So, or it can also be phenomenal. All right, let's take a break. More happy hour coming up next.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter, Nick_Sainert, and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever think of having a career in plumbing or heating? Do you enjoy watching your favorite game in a nice, comfortable space? Taking a shower after a warm day? Well, everyone we serve at Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air sure does. If you're interested in a career in plumbing, heating, and air, come join our team where you'll get paid while training. No experience required. Enjoy great pay and benefits in a friendly environment. Call Biggerstaff Plumbing, Heating, and Air at 402-466-8118 or apply online at biggerstaffs.com.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com.
Water heater gone? Call Bryant. The price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. And in most cases, same-day replacement. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
4th and 1 is what?
Fourth and one is
Urgency.
just a sense of urgency and a sense of preparation, which means 4th and 1 is really important. Have you prepared to be in 4th and 1? Yeah. So that was a heavy Ed Ogeron. That was a heavy Urban Meyer. Like that. It was 4th and 1 every day.
Oh boy.
So February 19th, It wasn't like, yeah, we're cool. We're all good.
Right.
No.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, mostly sunny skies and breezy conditions with mild temperatures this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 55. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 25. And tomorrow, we'll see more sunshine, warmth, and breezy conditions with a high of around 50. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate gameplay. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in West O and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at cobblecars.com. You'll be glad you did.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert
Heaven, tell me there's a God.
and Enrique Alvarez Clary
He made me in his own image.
on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico with you.
Does nobody know what the F is for phenomenal is from?
I don't.
Wheezy F Baby. And the
I
F is
still
for
don't know what
phenomenal.
that means.
I can't stand you.
What is it?
I can't stand you young people. No, it's nothing. Never mind.
Okay.
The text line should know.
I'm sure some of them do.
How do you not know?
I don't know.
Wheezy F Baby and the F is for phenomenal. And that doesn't ring any bells.
Zero. I have to look it up on Google. Oh, is it Lil Wayne?
Yes.
Nice. I know Lil Wayne. Rico, you shouldn't be shocked by this stuff. You really shouldn't.
I can't stand you.
That's fine.
Why do I still work with you?
Go ahead. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. Okay, before we get into Husker basketball, more specifically, exciting times are on the horizon, and there's a busy couple of weeks coming up. Starting next Wednesday, we begin the marathon of high school basketball on the Ticket. Next Wednesday, the girls' state tournament begins. We'll have every single game from Pinnacle Bank Arena on the Ticket starting next Wednesday, going through Saturday for the girls' tournament. And then the following week, same format, Wednesday through Saturday for the boys' tournament. So make sure you tune it in right here. There'll be a lot of hours spent at Pinnacle Bank Arena over the next 2.5 weeks or so. But in addition to that, we'll have Husker baseball in Minnesota, the women's basketball tournament out in Minneapolis, the men's basketball tournament in Chicago the following week. There's a lot going on. Husker softball goes down to Las Cruces this weekend. There's a lot of sports going on these next 2.5 weeks when you throw in the state tournaments as well. So a lot of exciting times on the horizon.
Everything's happening. Make sure you got your laptops, your TVs, your tablets, your phones ready because they're going to be running all weekend, all day, all the time. You're going to have a lot of things to watch and listen to here and everywhere else.
It'll be classes A through D2.
All of them.
All of them.
At least all the games that are played at PBA.
All the games that are played at PBA.
Any game that tips off at PBA, you will hear.
We'll hear it
here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Yeah. So got a good team lined up. We're ready to roll. Obviously, we'll have contribution from Husker Hall of Famers, Strick, Jay, AD, Raph, myself, Carter, Josh. All of us will be kind of teaming up because DP gets to go out of town for him to the women's basketball tournament, men's basketball tournament. So that's why I'm saying we got everything covered.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. So exciting times on the horizon. So we're excited to get rolling. Okay. Let's talk about this Husker basketball game. So Nebraska wins 70-66 last night in a game where that was really weird. I mean, Rico, you and I were sitting next to each other, and so we'll reference a couple of the conversations and comments we made last night. But there was like a time where Nebraska was up, I think 15-6, and I looked at you and I said, "Hey, be careful! Like this one could go heavily in Nebraska's favor." And you doubted me.
I did.
And then you give credit to yourself because you said I sat there and was
if
like,
it's a close game, Nebraska's going to win. The only way Maryland wins is if they blow Nebraska out. But if they're close, this team is gritty enough, and I think that they'll make enough plays, and Derek Wahl will play big boy basketball just like he did, and they'll be able to gut out a win. And that's just what happened.
Yeah, they did it. So
sometimes I'm right.
Very seldom.
Sometimes.
Blind squirrel finds his nut every so often, right?
But I will let you know when I am.
Yeah. But either way, Nebraska just with a resilient performance, because I think that's a really good word for it. when you look at some of the matchups across the floor, where you had Sam Hoiberg guarding Jameer Young, who is a Charlotte transfer, but averaging over 16 points per game for Maryland, and he's held right at his average at 16. Goes 1 of 3 from beyond the arc. Obviously, tried to hit that mid range at the end of regulation. And Sam Hoiberg, I have to say Hoiberg because we want to make sure we give credit.
2 Sams.
He had a phenomenal defensive effort on that last shot or possession for Maryland in regulation. That it was one of those, and Fred Hoiberg talked about it after the game, where it's if Jameer Young hits that shot at the end of the second half, that's when you just kind of throw your hands up and say that's a nice offensive play because we did everything we could without fouling on defense. And luckily for Nebraska, it rimmed out and we were all good to go. But then in overtime, you had exceptional plays, or I should say down the stretch, just in general, exceptional plays from Blaise Keita and Sam Hoiberg. And there's one play that if you go back and watch some of the highlights, one of the plays that will show up is Sam Hoiberg's strip underneath the Maryland basket to go the other way. And I want to say it was towards the end of the second half. And Sam Hoiberg is going to get credit for the steal there, and rightfully so, but it's the play that Blaise Keita hurt his ankle on. He does an exceptional job of moving and shifting his feet to stay in front of the ball handler and stay squared up, I should say, without fouling him on the body, forcing him, cutting off the baseline underneath the hoop, and to allow him to open up towards the perimeter, and that's when Sam Hoiberg gets the steal.
Blaise Keita is the biggest dude on Nebraska's roster, and he does 2 things exceptionally well. Draw charges and use his body and his length to his advantage without drawing fouls on himself. The way that he's able to, as you said, shift his feet and get in people's ways and keep his hands straight up. He'll jump straight up. Sometimes he'll get a block, but a lot of times he just alters shots. He uses his size so well to alter all of these shots or to stop people from getting into better position and possibly, somebody will come in and get a steal. He does such an amazing job at that without fouling that it's amazing that, or it's fantastic that he's finally healthy and no longer, now he might be injured again, doesn't have that high ankle sprain because his contributions, not scoring wise, but defensively that don't show up on the box score and rebounding have come at a perfect time for Nebraska.
Well, and it's a much needed week off for guys like Blaise Keita and for Jamarcus Lawrence, who are now finding themselves as in a key position as the season winds down. And when we talk about kind of Nebraska, I hate to say defying the odds last night, but when you look at how this season has gone and last night specifically, the officiating was really, really poor. I mean, it was really bad. And especially in key moments, you had that foul called on Sam Griesel that gave him his 4th personal foul. You had Derek Walker. I was seriously concerned about Nebraska when Derek Walker picked up those 2 fouls in the same possession.
Well, they're 10 seconds apart.
Because number one, they weren't they weren't the greatest calls, but you also know that if from watching D Walk, he's going to give 100% effort every time out there.
It's very physical.
And sometimes that gets him in trouble because he gets into foul trouble. And so when he got his 3rd foul, I think at the 12-minute mark, and Sam Griesel got his 4th around a similar time. And then you add on top of that the long Nebraska scoring drought that they were suffering through.
In the midst of it, about an 8-minute scoring drought.
Then you're saying, I found myself up there going, yikes, this one's getting out of hand. Like, unfortunately, Maryland's up 7-8 points, and you have 2 of your most important players on this roster are in foul trouble. And when Derek Walker picked up his 3rd, he had to sit down. Sam Griesel had to sit down for an extended period of time, unfortunately. Like, it was, oh no, who's going to step up? You need somebody to step up because Maryland at that time had also found an answer for Keisei Tominaga, and they were face guarding him the entire time. And so Nebraska just kind of held and kind of tried to stay strong throughout the entire thing. They did so successfully. And think about what we're saying throughout the last season and previous years. It's been when Nebraska makes one mistake, they kind of pile on top of each other and it kind of gets out of control. This season, they don't allow that to happen. Think about last night. You had Derek Walker, who was extremely frustrated because he was getting called for a foul on one end and then tried to go up strong, and there was no whistle on Nebraska's side.
He's getting beaten into the ground.
And you had Sam Griesel, who got all ball or at least no arm,
mostly ball,
on that jump shot right in front of Maryland's bench, and Maryland gets bailed out with a foul. And so through that, it showed veteran leadership, number one, on Derek Walker and Sam Griesel's part. It showed unbelievable coaching and managing of the roster and subs on Fred Hoiberg and the staff, and also just showed discipline and the idea and this mentality that Nebraska's kind of absorbed this season, to where we're going to try to figure out whatever we can do, and we're willing to do it to stay competitive in a game. And at the end of the day, last night, Casey hit that big three at the start of overtime. You had downhill Derek Walker going to work, who had 3 fouls at the 12-minute mark, and at the end of regulation, in crunch time, still had 3 fouls.
Was still playing the same brand of basketball he normally plays. He'll get the ball, he'll go downhill, he'll drop his shoulder into you, and somehow, I don't know, and we were talking about this up there, I don't understand how he gets some of his shots to fall.
Yep.
Because it doesn't seem like he even looks at the basket. He just knows where it's at, and his brain must be running a million miles a minute, because he'll toss the ball up, it'll go off the backboard and go straight into the back. It's the weirdest thing, but it works just about every time for Derek Walker, and it's extremely impressive. The fact that he is able to, they run the offense through him, he gets it at the top of the key, and he just makes everything go, is amazing for Nebraska, because to go on top of that and have Sam Griesel running the show from time to time, as well as your point guard, those two together, if they can stay out of foul trouble, and if Derek Walker's getting his shot to fall, are going to take Nebraska hopefully to 3 more wins to end the regular season. Because as Derek Walker goes, so does this Nebraska basketball team. I understand that Keisei Tominaga is the bright star, the scoring explosion that everybody wants to see hit threes from the logo, but Derek and Keisei have developed some kind of bond where when Derek has it at the top, Keisei is cutting. I mean, his off-ball movement is nonstop. That's another thing that we notice. The dude never stops moving. And when he cuts to the basket, he is one of the first people that Derek is looking for, because his ability to catch and get the ball out of his hands in one swift movement is phenomenal.
Nebraska's defense held Maryland to 10 of 22 on layups and just 2 fast break points. Nebraska committed only 10 turnovers in last night's game. And Nebraska, in addition, I want to say, I think they won the rebound battle.
They lost by 1.
They lost by 1. Thank you. Sorry. And so 45-44. And that's with,
they were down by 7 to start the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's just, once again, though, you look at some of those other statistics that might not get talked about a ton, and it's you allowed just 2 fast break points.
That's
on 10 turnovers. Yourself on 12 turnovers scored 11 fast break points. You had guys down the stretch that hit their free throws, and Sam Hoiberg and Jamarcus Lawrence hit 1 of 2. His only point all night. Jamarcus Lawrence, once again, growing right before our eyes. In just 18 minutes, because of that ankle injury, goes 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 2 from deep, but in crunch time hits 1 of 2 free throws. That the one that made it a 4-point game, in fact. And so you just kind of look up and down this roster, and you're starting to kind of get excited for the future, but you're kind of also hesitant because of what Nebraska basketball has been through, number one, and number two, you also don't know who's all going to be here next year. Nebraska has dealt with attrition year after year, and we know for sure that Emmanuel Bandamo won't be here, Sam Griesel will not be here, and Derek Walker won't be here either. Keisei Tominaga is the big one. Eli Rice, the IMG product, dropped another 20-burger last night in IMG's game, so you kind of have an idea of what's coming in. But CJ Wilcher has a decision to make. Keisei Tominaga has a decision to make. You hope that they continue to grow up Jamarcus Lawrence and Denham Dawson. And then you have a guy like Blaze Keita that what was concerning at the start of the year for how he could replace Derek has become less concerning as we've seen a healthy Blaze Cada kind of come onto the scene here.
You're not going to ask him to do the exact same things as Derek is doing for this Nebraska team, but his ability to be big, just his physical presence and his rebounding IQ are going to be very invaluable for Nebraska going forward.
So unnamed texter says this: why isn't Denham Dawson playing more? And I saw that question kind of come up a couple times on Twitter over the course of the last 24 hours or so. And I want to say they've went with a certain lineup. Also, I'm not sure how you could take out a guy like Sam Hoiberg in this spot of the game like he was and how much impact he had on it. But I think that's a good question for Husker Hall of Famer Eric Strickland. So let's bring him in and Austin Orman. We'll talk about and answer that question and more coming up on the happy hour on the ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay listen on the hour 93 The Ticket FM.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at Liberty First. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Life-changing research doesn't just take place in outer space. It's also happening right here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
Mary Manor School of Childhood at 320 North 48th Street reminds listeners this season, please show courtesy and common sense when driving. And remember, save that text message for when you're not behind the wheel so you can keep our kids and community safe. This message is brought to you by Mary Manor School of Childhood in Lincoln, featuring the finest in early childhood education and care. Call 402-466-2. Visit marymanor.org. Open for ages 6 weeks to 13 years with 70 years of experience.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, Southern Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high-quality bays that track ball speed, launch angle, club speed, spin rate, and more to give you the most accurate play. Check it out for yourself year-round. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operates the best value.
Your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. It means health conscious and delivered right to your door. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soup, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy package today at venuehome.net.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, investing investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a post frame building or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hassett Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 97 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We bring in our boys Strick and Austin for the crossover. Gentlemen, how was the weekend?
It was a great weekend. I had a good one.
You good, nice little alumni weekend there, Stricky.
Yeah, man.
Oh no, which phone ringing? Which phone? Which one? Just turn it. Shout out to Kevin Gates.
Yeah, he had a really nice alumni week until that half court shot.
Yeah, to the half. Yeah,
I knew you guys were going, especially you. But you don't.
Stricky,
realize.
I was so hyped, and like I get it. No warm up. You got to go out there. You got to use your whole body. Throw the shots up. You got 5 though, so you got to calibrate. 1, 2 shots, whatever. But Stricky,
I did come close on one of them.
I know one, but
I have the video of all 5.
So do I. But Stricky, even if you didn't want to go to Chicago,
I didn't want to shoot.
Why didn't you want to shoot?
Why did you win the rocket paper scissors?
Me in. I was sitting there.
Why didn't you tell him?
Nobody wanted to freaking.
Was it just between you two, or did everybody have the choice?
It was us two.
Why didn't you talk to Bryce?
Yeah, why didn't you have Bryce do it? I'm sure he works on half court shots during practices.
I should have, but I didn't. You know what? I did ask Bryce. Bryce said no.
Bryce.
He turned me. They all did. They're like, no, man, you do it.
Because they know they're done.
No, it's one of those. Listen. I'm gonna be honest.
Doesn't know when to hang it up.
I thought about it.
I'm just kidding.
I thought about it afterwards. One of the things is it's similar to baseball since you play baseball. Right?
Yeah.
One of the things about baseball is you don't want to have a lot of eye movement up or down. You want to kind of have your eyes level and stay because if you change your levels of your eyes, the ball when it comes out, it's going to look differently, right? Same thing with golf. You want to keep your eyes stationary, your body shifts and turns. And my problem, I realized this afterwards, I was so focused on the half court line. Rico, you're right. I just should have just didn't care.
Nobody cares about the line.
Because
everybody
cares about
when
Levine Levine jumped. He said he jumped from the
Everybody's like, oh, it's a free throw. I'm like, it wasn't, but okay, whatever.
But I was so focused on looking down to make sure I
last second look up
and you're trying to catch that deep. I realized it afterwards. I'm like, dang, that's why I should have just kept my eyes on the freaking.
It's okay, Strick. It's not the worst half court shot that I've seen. There was one guy who had like 2 shots and like airballed like not even close. Like both.
Jalen Hurts Hail Mary-esque.
Yeah. Well, Jalen slipped. All right, give him some.
You know what I was the most disappointing thing from yesterday was that they did not do a putt for the Porsche.
They had it out. I thought they were going to do it.
I was so heartbroken because the most electric event that you can do, there's two. Dash for Cash and the putt for a car.
That dude was so close on Dash for Cash.
I don't want to.
He had the perfect strategy. You said it.
Yes, it's perfect strategy. You line up and you take about 5 steps and then you recalibrate. You do it again, and you don't have to go super slow. A lot of people just go super slow, but you can recalibrate without going too fast or too slow. You recalibrate after a couple steps, and then when everybody gets loud, you drop.
And don't go forward. Go around.
Yeah, go around.
Go around.
And keep
your hands down. Don't lift your hands to feel. No, keep your hands down and slide.
I wonder.
Get it, right?
Exactly.
I wonder if that's just me sitting up at the top, like, man, I could do this so much better, or if it's more difficult in the moment. Because I have a feeling it's probably more difficult in the moment.
Can I do it for somebody? Like, I don't even need. Like, I don't know if it's bad for the media to win the money, so I'll do it for somebody. I just want to see how hard it actually is.
Well, I'll go as a general fan, and I'll just try to get the dash to be the Dash for Cash. But like, I wonder sometimes if like they think that they have a process, and then when they're in it, when they're doing it, they kind of forget what their goal was or what they were going to do.
Do the fans actually help?
But here's the crazy thing: that happens more times than what you really realize.
Yeah.
Because just think about it. Think about a UFC fighter. Think about a pro boxer. These are professionals at what they do. Everybody has a strategy until you get into that ring, you get into that octagon, and you get hit with that first. It's the same thing in football. You know, if you get a sweep, yes, you get a sweep, and a safety comes up and they lay you down one time,
that plane's
you're
changing.
Thinking a little bit differently about how the way that you hit them holes.
Should I keep running to the sideline next time?
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, you're right.
You start off out there and you're like, I got this perfectly, I got this plan, and then you also have the sense of time where you're like, you have this internal clock, like, man, I gotta panic, like 30 seconds is coming up quick. So I sometimes wonder, because I will never forget somebody just a couple weeks ago at a game had the Dash for Cash. It was like $600 or $700. Like it was pretty hefty. And the person had a perfect strategy, drop down right below it or right on top of it, and was just sliding around, and it was inside their arm. It was inside their arm. And I thought, man, they had the perfect strategy where they calibrate, they go the direction, they take 3 or 4 steps, recalibrate. And because, sometimes they'll go straight and that's where the fans will cheer. And then you recalibrate, then you move a couple inches to the left or whatever it may be. But I thought it was interesting. But I was real disappointed that the putt for a Porsche, because there's been 2 times. The 2 times that they've done it, the contestant has gone inches from the hole.
That's why they didn't do it.
They're like,
wait
a minute.
We're gonna have to give away a Porsche.
I really didn't want that Chicago trip. I'm being honest. When they said Chicago, my countenance went like this. I looked up and it said Chicago. I said,
I was hoping it said
no slight to Chicago. But
I was hoping it said like Dallas or Houston. I was like, I was just down there.
Strick, you should have just turned around. You saw me on the baseline. You could have tapped me, and I would have done that because I would have loved a Chicago trip.
You think they do that? You think they'd allow that?
I don't know. D-Wayne might let us tap in.
I would have asked.
Yeah.
With more notice, we would have been doing a remote from a local elementary school, just shooting half quarters off. With any more notice.
Strick needed it. Anyway, okay, Strick, here's this question for you, and I thought you would be good to answer this. Unnamed texter asked, "Why isn't Denon Dawson playing more?" Because I know you kind of talked about it a little bit last night when we were just sitting up there.
So the thing about Denham is it's really, well, you've got to look at the match, the starting lineups, the changes, the adjustments that they're making. They're very matchup oriented on the need for the night, right? Denham's greatness is in defense, right? You already have issues with paint shrinkage when you have Walker, Keita, and then you try to throw Denham in. It shrinks paint. You're trying to get matchups where you're getting Greasel to the post, you're getting space for Tamanaga and all that. So it's the fact that he's just not able to consistently at this point knock down shots.
Gotcha.
And so now if they need a run, they need stops. He's become situational because of the fact that you just don't have that space when you have any combination of 2 or 3 of those guys out there.
Gotcha.
That's the issue.
Gotcha. All right, we got about a minute left here. They got a chance to do something real special, like Husker basketball. If you think about this, we were sitting here before Rutgers, and I was saying, listen, if they can just win their 3 games at home, like that's a pretty impressive way to end of the year going into the Big Ten tournament. But here we are. NIT is seriously a conversation. And now a bye in the Big Ten tournament is conversation as well. Not forcing yourself to have to play on Wednesday would be huge for Nebraska's ability.
Somebody made a very weird point that I actually thought about. If they win their next 3 and they win 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, they're at what, 19 wins?
They're 19 and 14
with 3 or 4 quad 1
Actually,
wins.
19 and 15.
They could get into that play-in game.
Is there a chance of a last 4 in?
It's possible.
They've kept
their
fans,
resume.
They've kept fans invested. Yeah. But I'm sure the guys will talk more about it on the block. Make sure you stick around. That'll do it for us today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
Adios.
When you did, clubs were cool. Robotics club or